Hi, I'm Peter Johnston. I'd like to speak about my book, The Eagle's Way, and how it came to be written. I completed my medical course in 1965, but after 3 years in the hospitals, I still couldn't decide whether to be a surgeon or an anaesthesiologist. So I volunteered to serve with the Australian Army in Vietnam for 12 months. And while there, I learnt a lot about resuscitation and anaesthetics, but what I found I really liked best was listening to the day-to-day problems the soldiers brought to me. So I became a family doctor, and 50 years on, I'm still thoroughly enjoying the job. Vietnam also taught me the problems of warfare, so that I could understand when I came back from the war why the hippies of those era used the slogan, "Make love, not war." When I actually got married 6 weeks before I went to Vietnam, so I was overjoyed to come home and look forward to living happy ever after. But 10 years later, my wife was diagnosed with a lethal lung disease due to a defective gene, but aggravated by smoking, and we were both heavy smokers. So with no cure available, we looked for other options. And the most promising was Mary, an elderly meditation teacher who believed in spiritual healing. Well, spiritual healing was way out of my league in terms of my scientific background. I instinctively trusted Mary. I had 3 patients at the time who had incurable problems. One, a lung disease, second one had cancer, and a third one had rheumatoid arthritis. I could do very little for any of them, so I did suggest to them they might like to go and see Mary. They all did, and they all had complete recoveries to my amazement. Not long after, a 48-year-old man came to my surgery. He had prostate cancer that had spread to his skull, spine and thigh bones, and he was concerned that his meditations couldn't get still, because when he sat and closed his eyes to meditate, he kept seeing his bones with these dark shadows in them, so he took to visually cleaning his bones. But then about 6 months later he couldn't see them anymore and was getting worried, and came and asked for a bone scan. The bone scan showed it was clear all his cancer was gone from his bones. So through the 80s, most of the patients I had with incurable illnesses, I used to recommend they join Mary's meditation groups. And these groups became support groups for particularly terminal cancer patients. My wife joined this group too, but she wasn't among the miracle cures, and she died in 1987 at the age of 40. So nevertheless, her illness had triggered a passion within me to explore more about the mind-body-spirit connection, which was obviously the source of healing. So over the next 20 years, I read widely, went to many conferences and workshops, and spoke to many different people with all sorts of different healing modalities and systems. And I realised there was a treasure within, and I wanted to tell the world about it. So I started to write a book. And I wanted to write a book, the sort of book I would have liked to read myself when I was first exploring alternative medicine. But as I wrote, it expanded to include all healthcare systems, and also then further to help people to explore their own health and try and enhance their well-being. I also wanted to write it in a simple form so that people with no in-depth knowledge of medicine might be able to understand it all. So The Eagle's Way shows that alternative medicine does not fit the scientific paradigm, and therefore the medical profession will never accept most of it, and that's appropriate that they don't. However, particularly the mind-body spirit aspect of alternative medicine does find validity in the new scientific paradigm and in ancient wisdom, both of which are explored in this book. The book makes note that conventional medicine and surgery fight disease, whereas alternative medicine sees disease as a message from the subconscious, which, if taken notice of, can lead to healing. Hence, alternative medicines embrace illness rather than fight it. The Eagle's Way lists 158 different healing systems, ranging from ancient comprehensive systems like traditional Chinese medicine down to the psychological and energy-based modern systems. The subtitle of The Eagle's Way is the importance of love in healthcare, and this really expresses the importance of compassion. Whether it be conventional medicine or alternative medicine, it's most important to give compassion to the client, but even more important is for all of us to give ourselves compassion and to really congratulate ourselves on the fact that we always do the best we can in the circumstances we find ourselves in. So it is important to be kind to ourselves, but also to realise that the body has an inbuilt mechanism for healing if we can tap into it. So finally, I'd really like to thank you all for listening to this, and I think it takes a bit of courage and sense of adventure to go into this. Holistic medicine will be, I've been a holistic practitioner, which is practicing both the conventional and the alternative, and I think holistic medicine will be big in the future, but at the moment it's a road less travelled. Thank you.